Heading for a ride and basically late again. Imagine that. We've got a rear tire on the Bandit now, so we're gonna take it out for a little bit longer run this time. Should be meeting the guys right up on the corner here. Man, this entire city smells like weed. Every time I come into town, it smells like weed. And I know they grow it at one spot in town here, but is it just blanketing the city now? Oh, even a guest appearance by Vinny.
Yeah. Behind you, I just noticed the rear signal lights. Oh, that's not good.
They're made to clear for the bags, but so I think we'll be heading towards Nova Scotia again, naturally. Not gonna ride in New Brunswick like a sucker. Before I even left the house today, I knew I'd be riding a multi-strada at some point today. As soon as I picked this thing up, Luke made it very clear he wants to try it. I think we'll be jumping on the highway here before too long, and that'll be when we'll make the switch. It's tradesies for everybody.
Oh, I do that all the time. Don't feel bad.
All right, we'll try not to do it too much though. The big V4, gotta get used to it again. Also gotta get used to Luke's shifter, man. Oh, he's got one of these air-cooled seats on. They definitely work. There's not much of anything for a windscreen on this, but the wind isn't really much of an issue. That's probably because I'm used to a sport bike though. If you're used to touring bikes and stuff like that, you'd probably get on here and be like, oh damn, I need a windscreen. As soon as I hopped on, he's like, you probably want to put it in sport mode, so he comes over and he makes the adjustments. It's like, nah, I don't want to play with anything. I don't want to mess up any of your settings. I said the only thing you got to play with on mine on the left handlebar is like the signal lights. I imagine you know how to use those, so at least get ahead of these cars before she goes to 2-lane. I don't know if they plan on taking the highway right down to Port Elgin. We'll find out. Down at speed limit speeds, you get that V4 vibration. I think he said this is the 1260S. This is not the same multi that I tried last fall that he had. I think he sold that one and picked up another one. Less than 13,000 on this one, so fairly new again. This bike is even more upright than the Bandit. So I guess it fits a little bit more into the adventure touring class. He's probably taller than you. He's a pretty big guy. So, you know, the drop foot pegs and the handlebars, he had the bars up even further up. But even right now, if you make a full lock turn, they'll touch the windscreen. So before, you couldn't even get the full lock and it was right in the windscreen.
Look at the mirror extensions.
Yeah, and the extensions too. But yeah, the guy I bought it from, he had a set of Q3s on it, which are not a good tire for this bike, I don't think. And I'm telling you, there was this much of them that had never touched the pavement. And the center of it was
like
just...
mine?
The center of it was just as flat as this road. Like you had to fight the bike off the center to make it lean. So I took it through Fundy. I'm like, I'll let you guys touch the pavement once before I take you off. myself in the lead for a minute, mostly because I'm just not very good at describing directions. I think these are all roads that we've been on before, but I'm just not very good at explaining them. I explained this stop sign and everything to Mike, and now that we're here, he's probably like, oh, of course, this one. Here it is. This is the one we're after. Some of the funner turns here, but of course they have bumps in the middle of them. Always the way it goes. These roads in the next couple of weeks will be lighting right up. All these leaves will get changing. Makes for a really nice ride through here. All these turns look so much different now on this bike. Still getting the feel for it, so you just don't know how capable it is. And I hate to say it, but one of the worst things that happened to me was coming through the traffic circle at a pace that I did not think was very fast at all. And it leaned over so bad that it kicked my foot off the foot peg. And I think it really was just more me having my foot in a very poor position, but for that split second I thought, holy shit, this bike can't lean over that far, but yes it can. It absolutely can. I'm just not used to it. It's just, you gotta be careful when you're used to riding sport bikes that are, you know, head and shoulders better than I am, and then you get used to that, and you get on a bike that maybe isn't as good as I am anymore. So you really got to be careful how you push it. This bike is at least 150 pounds heavier than my ZX-10, and it's not carrying the suspension or the brakes. I think I'll top up at the gas station up here. Split the group here a little bit. Luke's gonna brake for home. As long as we don't make too many more stops, we should still make it home in a decent amount of time. Imagine probably around Amherst I'll just hit the highway and do the same thing. Oh. Whoa, that's some rutted up pavement. All right, let's try this. Oh my, that sound! Yeah, I've thought about a cross-plane Yamaha, and it's quite clear that I would be happy with one. I haven't even got a chance to feel what it's got for power, but my ears are very happy. And at least up to 120 here, the wind coming off the front end is just fine. Like, it's, again, when you're used to sport bike wind, a naked bike is not that big of a stretch. Yeah, you hear these things at idle and maybe run around town or whatever, but from the seat, that's That's where it really sounds good. Yeah, I could learn to live with this. That little crackly bark coming out of it. Oh my god. It could be a Honda Ruckus. If it sounded like that, I'd be happy with it. Oh my god. If it were up to my ears, I'd be selling bikes and buying one of these tomorrow. And there's more than just my ears that like it too. I mean, holy shit, this is awesome. I always wondered what I think of a naked bike again, but I must say I enjoy this CP4. She's a selling point. I think you'd have to wrap a pretty crappy bike around this engine to be upset with it. Throttle input takes a little bit of getting used to. She's really on or off. Once you're into it, it's smooth, but it's that on-off transition. Really pretty jerky there. I don't think this is the only Yamaha that's had that said about it. Naturally, the funnest part of the road is where you meet the traffic. Coming through Spring Hill, I just goosed it a little bit. Second gear, front end just starts picking right up, nice and smooth. Oh man. So how much you want for it? He'll probably want to stay on this one though. If you take that one, he'll probably want to stay on that one.
Actually, you know what? That is very, very close to, feels exactly like home. It feels like my head's
I was going to say it's probably closer to your old one.
It's very much like my
a little more tame, but really low end torque.
Yeah.
Like it makes as much torque as my Ninja, but it makes it at 3,500 instead of 9,500.
No, it very much feels like my FZ1. Same power coming off the corner, but it behaves the same way as far as handling goes.
Yeah. Holy fuck. If it was left, my ears right now just want to start selling stuff and buy one.
It's a great sounding bike.
I said if I could have a Honda Ruckus. If it sounded like that, I'd ride it. I think you'd have to wrap an awful shitty bike around that engine to not be happy.
Yeah.
That is a good engine. Fuck, coming through Spring Hill, I was in second gear and I was like, just, I wonder how it pulls. Just goosed a little bit there and oh, okay, this isn't yours. Put that down. But so smooth, like it just slowly comes up. I was like, whoa, don't do that.
I've done more unintentional wheelies with this bike in a week than I did with my FZ1 on purpose in the 3 years that I've owned it.
Yeah,
Like,
I can see it.
nuts.
I can definitely see it. No, I like that. And it just, the noises, like not just the sound when you're on it, but like downshifting, it's barking at you. And
Experience.
yeah.
I definitely did.
I said that engine is definitely a selling point for Yamaha. I said they could wrap anything they want around that engine, it'll sell. Musical Bikes continues. Now we find ourselves on an HP4. This would be my first time on an S1000 also. First time with quick shift and auto blip also. Pulling away with this thing, it almost felt like it didn't have the mid-range that my 10 does. So that surely means that on top end it'll probably eat the 10's lunch. Wow, that auto blip is smooth. You don't even feel it. The feel of the shifter under my boot is a little vague. You've almost got to look down at the dash to confirm that you have shifted. The only thing I don't like about doing stuff like this is it introduces a lot of nervousness that, you know, shouldn't necessarily be there. We're not riding overly fast or anything, but the whole time you're thinking, man, this is not my bike. I don't know it that well, and I just don't want to fuck up someone else's bike. I tell you what, it's more comfortable than my 10 though. I feel like you sit a little bit further down in it. Riding that MT10 has me rethinking everything I'm doing with motorcycles. Trying to have one bike to do, you know, these specific things, which common sense tells you is a better way to go about it. Well, not financially, but because, you know, there's always some give and take. If you buy one bike, it's going to be good for certain things but not for others. But, you know, maybe we've reached a point where some of these bikes are just good enough at everything that you could have one, or, well, maybe two. You know, you can't go to one. Asking an addict to go cold turkey, you know, it's tough. Just hear the boys disappearing up the highway. Let them take off ahead. They're gonna take the back way home. I gotta make time, so it'll just be highway all the way. I must say that was a fun day. It was like a big demo ride. This is the first time I've been through here and not one of these windmills are turning. That's crazy. I wonder if the marsh will actually be not windy. That'll be a first. 5:17, that means I should be able to make it home by 6. I would have liked to get in even a little bit earlier than that, but you always get held up. Time flies when you're having fun. So I don't know how much of that test ride on the BMW I got before the camera died. But that was a fun one also. That thing got me thinking about quick shifters. Can't get over how smooth that auto blip is. Even from like a second to first gear shift. Just seamless. So maybe I need to think about a later model MT10 with the quick shifter. Cruise control, quick shifter. That might be just the ticket. I wish I could go for one ride without coming home thinking about what bike I'd like to own. Anyway, that brings us to the conclusion of our riding day. Nobody wants to tag along for a 50 or 60 kilometer jaunt down the highway. So instead, head down there, push buttons, read comments, click links, keep the machine happy, and I'll try and get this machine home in time.